and welcome to yet another edition of the Full Force News Burst, brought to you by GeneralsJoes Reborn.com, with me as your host, Chris, looking at Justin behind the scenes, McLeod, aka Diagnosticator. Joining me today to talk about Snake Eyes movie updates and cheeky filming behind the scenes is Justin, fully aware that Chris is looking at him behind the scenes, Bell. So without further ado, let's get stuck into this cheeky, sneaky look at each other behind the scenes news burst. Over the last week or so, we've been getting small snippets of behind-the-scenes filming from the Snake Eyes set, or I should say Gracklebird set, to give it the working title, which was highlighted in this notice of filming document handed out to local residents of West Cordova and West Waterfront Road in Vancouver, Canada, a number of days ago prior to filming the motorcycle stunt scenes. Footage of that very scene was caught on camera by Twitter user TankGaming12345, showing what looked like Snake Eyes slashing at a motorcycle as it passed him. The first lot of footage we actually saw came courtesy of Twitter user Frederick_Venus when he filmed what looked like a Yakuza scene as they enter a warehouse en masse. On top of these cool sneak peeks on set, we've also been getting some valuable intel from Henry Golding himself as he continues his press tour for his new movie, Last Christmas. In interviews with Entertainment Tonight, MTV News and Entertainment Ireland, Golding commented on the physical aspects of the filming and that they would be wrapping up in February and staying on course for an October release, stating, "We've got a little holiday break, but I'm still going to be keeping fit. Physically super demanding. I've never experienced anything like it. I think we're going to finish around February. Hopefully we will stay on track for an October release. Amazing. It is phenomenal. Like the stuff that we've prepared for everyone. I'm being beat up on a regular basis, so I'm barely on crutches at the moment. I cannot wait for people to actually see it." He had quite a lot to say to MTV News, including being a fan of the Joe and Transformers properties as a child growing up, and even confirming that the film will be a standalone as well as a full reboot of the Joe movie universe, saying, "This is definitely a standalone. Yeah, I'm Snake Eyes in the film. It is his origin. It is him becoming who he is, and I think people are going to be blown away with what Robert Schwenke, the director, has conceptualized. We have the best team." He continued to reveal aspects of the nature of the film in an interview with Entertainment Ireland, adding, "Snake Eyes is absolutely insane, phenomenal conception of Robert Schwenke and everybody at Paramount. It is the origin story and we're rebooting G.I. Joe as everybody knows it, starting fresh and giving it much more of a storyline and a character-based kind of story to really kick things off. Giving it a heart, I think, is what's most important, especially with the character that is so beloved and so mysterious in many ways. One that was never able to sort of express himself, so this is the first time where I think that people will be sort of drawn to Snake Eyes as a character rather than as a weapon. I'm on day 19 over in Vancouver right now, so we've been filming these insane action sequences, and we've got a crack team from Japan and Vancouver on board, so it really is wonderfully shot, and I'm so excited to share more, but I can't. Do keep eyes out there. Of course, you fully expect your lead actor to sell the idea for the movie they're in, but this does sound very positive indeed. Justin, starting with Golding's statements first, are you confident in what you're saying about the movie, and are you happy that we are 100% confirmed for a reboot now?
Yeah, I mean, it does lend me with some confidence. I mean, sure, every star is going to say that during interviews, "Oh, this is the best thing I've ever worked on," yada, yada, yada. But, I mean, he really does seem to be enthusiastic and excited about it, which I think is a very cool thing. He seems to be enthralled with the fact that he's working on an action film and really just psyched up, which is really cool. And from the reboot perspective, I think it makes a lot of sense. I'm glad they're starting fresh and not trying to find a way to shoehorn a prequel film into the existing universe in a way that just wouldn't work. So I fully support the reboot idea, and I'm pretty excited about everything that he's been saying so far. Absolutely.
Something that stood out to me in what he was saying, like his statements, he mentions a character-based kind of story to really kick things off. Now, that sounds to me like there is definitely an eye on future movies beyond this one, even at this stage.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, we knew of that they were kind of like, they were teasing that whole Chuckles,
right?
You know, the kind of Crimson Twins kind of idea.
That movie that's supposed to come after Snake Eyes that didn't even seem to have Snake Eyes rumored as a member of the cast. Is that one?
Yes, exactly.
Had everybody on the G.I. Joe team except for Snake Eyes. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean. Are you? I mean, do you think that they're probably really gearing this up to be one of many?
I think so. Yeah, I absolutely think so. I mean, it just makes sense. You know, the whole kind of cinematic universe is still an in thing. And even if they're not, bringing in other brands like Transformers or Power Rangers or whatever, I think they're absolutely gearing to set up G.I. Joe as a franchise going forward. I mean, it's only good for them, because, obviously G.I. Joe, their in-house properties kind of continue to dwindle a little bit. So I think, G.I. Joe is certainly, it's poised to kind of be their biggest moneymaker. They don't have to shell out any licensing costs. It's all in-house. And if they can turn G.I. Joe into a global phenomenon, that's all stuff going right to their bottom line. So I think it behooves them to do what they can to kind of reinvent G.I. Joe and make it something relevant today and make it something popular. I think they realize that. I think it's just going to be a challenge for them to figure out how to do that. Yeah. And hopefully this is a step in the right direction.
Seems like they're taking a leaf out of the Bumblebee book as well here, aren't they?
Yes.
Kind of going with that, that single character. This all stuff we've discussed in the past, obviously, but
sure.
This definitely does kind of, I suppose, confirm and reinforce those ideas, even in these like small kind of quotes that he's mentioning. But I mean, there was obviously that the mention of focusing on Snake Eyes more as a character rather than a weapon. Now, that is something that's quite interesting to me. It doesn't necessarily mean that, he's going to be face out all the time, constantly just Snake, like talking and all that kind of stuff. This is an origin, so I think we can probably safely assume that they're still probably going to aim towards, giving him some sort of tragic element about his character to work with. So does that intrigue or worry you, or is it a bit of both at the moment?
No, it intrigues me totally. I mean, as somebody who's been spending a lot of time kind of writing, stories and writing books and doing that sort of thing, plot is important. It's nothing without character. You've got to be able to care about the character, and just making Snake Eyes some masked sort of, blind killing machine without any depth to him is just not going to be the way to go. And, because they're kind of more of a, exploring more of a character aspect of him, I think is a great thing. And that's something that Larry Hama was able to do so well that I don't know if anybody else has really been able to in taking Snake Eyes and taking a character that doesn't speak, you can't see his face, and he just kind of goes, and yet somehow giving him emotion and giving him feeling and giving him character. Larry Hama did that so well, and I don't believe anybody else has really been able to at this point. They can't seem to get their head around the fact that, because he doesn't speak, he can't be a character. But I think, obviously with the Snake Eyes film, I think even though nobody has come out and said it, it's going to be pretty clear. You're going to be seeing his face. You're going to be hearing him talk. They're basing this entire solo film around him. You can't really do a 2-hour movie with some guy that, never speaks. So because this is kind of a lead into what happens, I think it does give them an opportunity to really explore his character and figure out what makes him tick and make the tragic events that happen to him much more meaningful because he is such a deep character. I mean, you have to be able to care for him in order for these tragedies that occur to him to have any meaning whatsoever. So I think that's definitely the right approach.
That's a really good point, actually. Yeah, obviously you want that. A lot of the time they've just gone in with the preconceptions of, the character already. Here's just a few little signposts. Here's like, a little flashback here and a flashback there. And it doesn't, it to us, it just you just continue to have the same character in your head the whole time. And it doesn't really kind of go anywhere or do anything any different. And I think this way, like you just mentioned, you get to explore the character early on in a different way. And then you're going to, I'm imagining as well, you'll probably get that tragedy striking to make it more powerful. Totally agree with that. Okay, so like obviously with Golding's comments, we've also been getting some amazing updates, some cheeky little footage filming behind the scenes. I mean, how have you been enjoying those little snippets? We saw the Yakuza entering a warehouse and seeing the motorcycle fights and stuff like that. I mean, this could be pretty cool looking, couldn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm getting geeked up every time I see some stuff like in action. No, I mean, number one, it's really cool to kind of see what goes on behind the scenes. I mean, what you see on the screen is a tiny fraction of what actually happens to bring that picture to the screen. And it's really awesome to kind of see the camera rigs, following everything along and just seeing like what's going on to bring this stuff out to the audience. And every time I see any kind of moving pictures from the set, it's just really, really awesome.
Still no visuals on kind of like what the characters might look like, what Snake Eyes might look like. I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it, where you're just you're gagging to see something, aren't you?
Totally. I want to see something, whether it's concept art, whether it's anything like that. I want to get a picture in my head of what we're going to expect. And I've been trying to kind of think of when, trailers might start coming. And I know it's still a very long ways off. Like we're probably talking about, early to mid next year. I mean, I'm hoping we'll see trailers or something before Comic-Con. I'm sure we will. If it's really being released in October, I would think we'd see them before then. But obviously, Toy Fair will hopefully maybe bring us some images of upcoming toys and stuff like that for the year. That'd be great.
6-inch.
Yeah, I think that's almost a given at this point. I'm hoping people realize that, but
yeah, totally. And I probably should mention as well, a big shout out as well to Andrew Lee, who we did a little breaking news on when he joined the creative team for Snake Eyes as the art director. But he commented on our video, which I thought was amazing, and said, "Many thanks for the support, Full Force. We're still shooting in Vancouver, and I'm proud to say that what we have shot so far is looking great. We are very lucky to have an exceptional and seasoned production crew with many decades of big feature film experience under their belts. The sets look beautiful, the performances from our young cast are excellent, and the action sequences are very exciting. I'm really looking forward to seeing the final product when Snake Eyes is released in theatres on October 16th, 2020. Mark your calendars, and thanks again to all G.I. Joe Snake Eyes fans. We're making this movie for you." I mean, when I saw him write that, I was like, what? Oh my goodness. I mean, that's cool when, the guys that are working on this reach out to us. Like, I think that is just so awesome. We have got to try and get him on the show, haven't we?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think we've got an in now. You've got to... Absolutely got to make it happen. Right,
so bombard him with comments. We are going to literally try and get Andrew Lee on the show to talk about... I would imagine it would have to be after Snake Eyes.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he can't talk about much of it now.
Maybe on the press, maybe like when, trailers come out and things like that, where we can talk about things that are on the trailer with him. We'll see if we can get hold of Andrew Lee again. But yeah, absolutely blew my mind when I saw his comment. And yeah, great big shout out to Andrew. Really excited for the positive comments coming out of everybody's mouths at the moment. And again, yeah, you expect that to some degree, but I don't know, that does feel like a genuine excitement around this movie now, especially with the cast and the crew.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, things are actually happening. I mean, it's one thing to hear about things, swirling around, but to see it actually happening and to know that something is happening on a daily basis, that's a whole new thing. It's pretty awesome.
In any case, Justin, thanks for jumping on and chatting behind the scenes and updates on the Snake Eyes movie. Much appreciated, mate. I know it's always in the most awkward times for you.
It's all right. It's all good.
That's it for this instalment of the Full Force News Burst. Thank you to my awesome co-host, Justin Bell. See you next time, and as always, Full Force. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @The Full Force, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/The Full Force, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of those platforms with feedback or questions. We have also started a Patreon page, so if you want to see your name up in lights on these videos or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/The Full Force Podcast, or click the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.